All right, we are live, I believe. Testing one, two, three. There we go. We are up and running, guys. What is going on, everybody? We are live for the United States Grand Prix in Austin. We are about 20 minutes before the start of the race. Let's give it a little bit of time for everybody to join in here as they're doing as Martin Brundle's doing his grid walk. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys where you guys are watching from. Good evening, Newcastle fan. Good evening. Yeah, I was gonna say it's awfully late there for you guys to be watching this race. For once we're on normal time here in the United States. All right, just getting my chat set up here so that I'll be able to see what you guys are saying. Like I said, good evening, Newcastle fan. Watching from Newcastle upon Tyne. Very nice. Okay, there we go. 8 p.m. So you guys are prime time then. You guys are watching this race prime time. There we go. All right, we're set. You guys are watching it prime time there in the United Kingdom. All right, so let's get into this, guys. What is going on? We are here live for the US Grand Prix out of Austin, Texas. Would have loved to have been in Austin for this. I'm going to go one of these days. I do promise. We're in Austin. Breaking news from the race today. George Russell's going to be starting from pit lane as he basically didn't have the parts to put together a spare car that would have had the same upgrades on it that he had on it during qualifying yesterday. So he is going to be starting from pit lane. Thank you very much, Gray Diesel. I really appreciate that. Thought for the Austin Grand Prix, I'm going to tune into an American Laugh Out Loud. First time here. Thank you so much, Gray Diesel. Hit that subscribe button for me. That would mean a ton for me. And then also hit that like button. So that'll push the stream out to more Formula One fans who don't necessarily like the commentating of maybe Sky Sports or wherever you guys are hearing your commentary from. And then you guys can support the channel in other ways too. You guys can send in super chats. I'll read those throughout the live stream. Biggest way you can support though is hit that subscribe button. As you guys can see, I've got a little subscriber counter over there at almost 750 subscribers. So thank you guys very much to who all has subscribed to my channel. They're getting lined up for the national anthem for the United States. I will take my hat off. I won't be able to stand. You won't be able to sit me or see me standing, so I will be sitting for this. So like I said, George Russell will be starting from pit lane today. We'll run down. Oh, Very nicely done. Yeah, it sometimes sounds a little off. I think it was because it's typically you have music playing behind it. I know with some of the other national anthems that we've heard in the past, sometimes they play music underneath the singers, so it may sound a little bit different. Um, so yeah, so it can sometimes sound a little weird. So yeah, you're right, Gray Diesel. So let me know if you guys have got any questions before we get started into the Grand Prix today. We'll run down the grid order. Let's run down the grid order first. So Lando Norris is on pole position. All right, so Lando Norris on pole position, Max Verstappen starting next to him. You've got Carlos Sainz with a great qualifying session yesterday, starting in third. Charles Leclerc starting right next to him in fourth. Oscar Piastri fifth. Seemed a little he seemed a little bit off in his car. He even I think said that his car felt a little bit different yesterday. Pierre Gasly starting in sixth. Great qualifying from the Alpine yesterday. His Alpine has got the upgrades on the car, so it looks like those upgrades have really pushed that car forward. You got Fernando Alonso starting in seventh, only did one qualifying lap yesterday, but made it count starting in seventh. You've got Kevin Magnussen starting in eighth, who it was his first time in Q3 yesterday, and he set an okay first lap. He was on a much better lap. He said he was about 0.4 to 0.5 up of his first lap before the George Russell crash in Sector 3. Then you've got Sergio Perez, who did not set a time in Q3. He's starting ninth. Yuki Tsunoda starting 10th. Hulkenberg 11th. You've got Ocon 12th. Stroll starting in 13th. Then you've got Albon and Colapinto starting in 14th and 15th. Valtteri Bottas in 16th. Lewis Hamilton with a shocking qualifying yesterday. He's going to be starting in 17th. 18th in Guan Yu Zhou. 19th, Liam Lawson, who's taking over for Daniel Ricciardo. And then Russell, who will be starting from pit lane 20th and last. So that's the grid order as we've got it now. Yeah, I would agree with that, Gray Diesel. The McLaren did not look incredibly like like the last few races. The McLaren has not looked as beatable as it does in Austin right now, and I think, excuse me, I think the temperatures will have a lot to say today in regards to strategy and how fast these cars are going to be able to drive on these tires. We saw, even during the sprint race, the rear tires were going off extremely quickly if you were racing a lot. So we could see that very well happen today, and we could end up seeing at least a two-stop race, maybe three-stop, depending. We haven't seen the safety car. I saw this stat online as we were getting ready for today's race. We haven't seen the safety car since the Canadian Grand Prix. So, it's definitely a possibility that we could see the safety car today in Austin, but, it's a very iffy. I would say it's a, obviously 50-50 proposition. I don't think we see the safety car today, but I would glad to be wrong, because a lot of times safety cars will definitely throw, a spanner into the work when it comes to these races. So, that will be definitely interesting to see. And, the one thing I think we'll be looking for, at the start is obviously, can Lando Norris get off to a good start? He's had some shockers when it comes to starting from pole position and whether he's been able to get off the line. And this, going uphill into this turn one here in Austin, you've really got to get to a good start here. So, it's going to be really interesting to see if Lando Norris will be able to hold off Max. Great Diesel. Yeah, the end of the sprint yesterday, everybody's tires except for the Ferraris. You heard a lot of teams complaining about tire wear towards the end of that sprint race, but the Ferraris seem to have been getting faster and faster as that sprint race went on. So that could play very well into Ferrari's hands today. You know, obviously teams made some changes going into qualifying yesterday to potentially, fix that issue of, the tires going off so quickly. So we'll definitely have to wait and see as this race progresses on. I know about a couple weeks ago, last time I did a live stream, I was blowing my nose quite a bit. So I apologize if I'm doing that again today. Allergies have been murder here in Texas. They've just been really getting to everybody this year. Excuse me. Yeah, there's a definite. I think the Mercedes, looking at today's race, the Mercedes are so far off the pace. We saw it in qualifying yesterday where, Lewis Hamilton wasn't even able to get out of Q1. He's been complaining a lot about the setup, and the Mercedes has been so wishy-washy when it comes to the heat in some races. We've seen, in prior races where the heat's been a factor and they've just been nowhere. And their tire wear seems to be way worse than everybody else's in the field. I mean, even a couple laps into the sprint race yesterday, George Russell was complaining about the tire wear and his tires were gone, and Lewis was kind of complaining about the same thing, although Lewis's went off a little bit later. So it's definitely a possibility that we see the Mercedes on just, trying to make a two-stop work today. I think the thing is we're going to see today, you're going to see a lot of teams go to a two-stop instead of a one-stop today. They've been talking about the graining on the tires all throughout the weekend, so that's obviously been an issue. So we'll have to see if that graining becomes an issue again today in the early laps of this race. Yeah, absolutely. It's so weird. Mercedes looked like they were finally starting to get back to it and get back into, where they were as a team a couple years ago, and then all of a sudden you know, they just haven't been able to figure out these upgrades and to get into a position where these upgrades are carrying them, further up the field. Some races it does, some races it doesn't. All right. So we are about 5 minutes now from formation lap beginning and the race just getting ready to get started. So again, if you guys are new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot. Also hit that like button. It pushes this video out to more and more Formula One fans. And then also, if you guys want to support the channel in other ways, you guys can send in super chats. That definitely helps me out as well. Super chats. It, you know, just any way you guys can support the channel, it would be amazing. So as we're just doing the opening credits right now. Gonna be sad because I have a feeling they may change the music when we go into the new regulations in 2026. I kind of like this. I kind of like this music. Excuse me. So we're just a couple minutes now from getting on formation lap. That climb into turn one is probably one of the best, one of the best drives into turn one that we see in Formula One. I think that's one of the coolest, most, just uh what would you something that you don't see in any of the other Formula One tracks is just that climb into turn one. So they're just going over starting grid. Like I said, breaking news that happened about an hour or so ago: George Russell starting from pit lane due to having to change a ton of his parts. And then they obviously, with the fact that they were giving him new parts, you might as well give him new engine parts as well. I'll tell you. I will tell you that the Haas's looked really good yesterday during the sprint race. Now, both cars have the upgrades now. They added the upgrades to Kevin Magnussen's car for qualifying yesterday. The Haas's looked really good in the sprint race. So be really interesting to see how the Haas's go along today. All right, so we're just about Hamilton saying, "Damn, this is far back." Yeah, so top 12's on the mediums. Lance Stroll's the first one on the hards. You got Lance Stroll, Colapinto, and Hamilton, Lawson, and Russell all starting on hards. Everybody else starting on the mediums. All right, so we are just about underway. All right, here we go. Formation lap beginning. Yeah, so if I were to make a pick here just before the start, I would say we get Charles. Look, I say a Ferrari wins this race. With the amount of tire wear and the issues that were plaguing McLaren, Red Bull yesterday, and some of the other teams, I have a feeling we may get a Ferrari victory here today. Oops. There. So, guys, let me know in the comment section down below who your pick is to win today's race. Like I said, I think a Ferrari wins today. I think, with Charles Leclerc being the guy that's, still in the championship hunt, I think it's a Charles Leclerc victory. But, Carlos Sainz is trying to prove, I think, a thing or two to Ferrari, in the way that, basically they got rid of him for Lewis Hamilton next year. All right, so we're getting the drivers starting to pull up onto the front stretch and to line up in their grid positions. .54 difference going into today's race between Lando Norris and Max Verstappen. Okay, George Russell pulling out of his garage, getting ready to get set on pit lane. There's Nico Hulkenberg. All right, the last car's pulling up onto the grid now. Yeah, Lando's is so, and I agree. Lando's got to get to the inside and get a good start and get to the inside of Max Verstappen and block that inside off. All right, here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and we're underway. Yeah, Lando got a good start. Get to the inside. Oh, Carlos! Carlos to the front. Yellow flag, sector 1. He just didn't get enough inside. He didn't block it off at all. Carlos signs up into the lead. Boy, oh boy. Hamilton's up to 12th already? Holy crap. Max goes wide. Here comes... Oh, Leclerc's in the lead. I thought that was... Man, Leclerc got off... I thought it was Carlos Sainz. Holy crap. Wow, Charles Leclerc. Russell's already up to 19th, although Ocon did spin on the very first lap. Lawson up to 14th. He gained 5 positions as well. Guan Yu Zhou up to 15th. The Williams fell back quite a bit on the start there. Here comes Carlos. This is a great spot for passing. Man, he is all over Max Verstappen's back right now. Did the Williams Albon must have gotten some damage. Albon's been dropping further and further back. He's now dropped down to 19. Yellow flag in sector 3. Oh no, Hamilton! Hamilton's into the gravel and he's stuck! Oh my God, Hamilton! Hamilton is out! We're gonna get a safety car on lap 3! That may be an actual safety car coming. What happened there? It's almost in the exact same spot that Russell had his spin yesterday. Safety car, there it is. They finally threw the safety car there. Hello, Jacob. Wow, what happened to Lewis? Who's going to pit, though, on lap 3? Why would you already... I don't think you pit here. I can't imagine anybody makes a pit stop here. Okay, so... Man, Lando, what are you doing, though? Why did you not... Like, literally, you should have been up against... He just didn't cover it enough. He gave... Lando's really got to start getting aggressive. Charles Leclerc, though, what a start from the Ferrari. Yeah, so Alex Albon had damage, and that's why Alex Albon's pitting right now. Yeah, the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc just had tons of grip there coming out of turn 1. What was he doing? That was such a silly mistake by Albon there. He broke too early. He just broke way too early going into turn 1. That's literally all that was Lando being too cautious there. Okay, so here's the spin by Lewis. Ooh, just the back end just snapped on him. The back end just absolutely snapped on him. Wow. That was... Wow. Those Mercedes have got to be on knife edge of their setup. First safety car since the Canadian Grand Prix. My first prediction wrong today. I said I didn't think there'd be a safety car today, and we get it on lap 3. No further investigation with Albon and Ocon with the contact in turn 1. Jacob, I think that was a section of the track that got repaved. I think part of that got repaved, but they changed the way track limits work in that particular section as well. And so I think because the track limit kind of changed there, I think everybody's been kind of driving that corner a little bit differently as well. Plus there's they have a different kind of curbing there to the inside of the rumble strips. So I think that's also another issue there. Norris radio. Man, yeah, he went. Yeah, right. Unlike NASCAR, where the track. Yeah, because if you've ever seen NASCAR run run at Coda, that just outside of turn 19, there is no track limit there in NASCAR. Okay, safety car is ending. Charles got to block off turn 1, the inside of Max. Back green, and here we go. Max is right on the back end of Charles Leclerc. Stroll just dropped back a few spots. Stroll. Something has happened to Stroll. Stroll's dropped all the way to the back end. Look at these 4. Russell, Ocon, Albon, and Stroll all fighting for these last couple spots. Leclerc fastest lap, and he's broken a second to Max. But Sainz is within a second of Max. So is Lando's just outside of a second of Sainz, but Sainz is going to have DRS on Max here on that backstretch. I love this tight little section of track there. The S's there, the tight little S's, they're really all right. Here we go. There you go, Hulk. Up in the 10. Toss double points right now. Carlos Sainz is coming, though. He's still within a second. Yeah, Verstappen just broke a second on Sainz. But Verstappen and the Red Bulls have looked really good through that high speed section there in sector 1. Yeah, Yuki ain't giving this position up without a fight, especially with Perez, as he's trying to get into that Red Bull seat for next season if Perez doesn't stay there. Great job, Liam, there. That's Stroll went off. That's why Stroll dropped so far back. Magnussen is right on the back end of Gasly for 6th place. Signs radio. No power on the exit of corners. No power. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Leclerc is almost 3 seconds up on Verstappen now on lap 9. Signs radio. Smells a lot like fuel in the car, guys. Uh-oh. Fuel leak? Joe! Zhou Guan Yu spins out into last place, and he wonders why he doesn't have a seat for 2025. Just lost the back end there. Jeez. Russell's not making up enough places. He's still back in 15th place. Driver default Delta 16, 1-6 on. They just told Signs that. Ooh, somebody locked up there. Okay, they may have fixed the issue because now his times are starting to come back down and he's starting to come back to Max. Verstappen's now 4 seconds back of Leclerc. Alonso just lost a place to Liam Lawson. Perez is about the only car that's within a second of anybody. Great pass there by Liam. I'm hoping all the fighting between Alonso and Liam is over from yesterday. Ooh. Went a little bit too far to the inside there, Alonso, kicking up some dust onto the track. Piastri radio. Feedback on plan A, please. And he goes, ambitious. Well, yeah, but the overheating may start to cause graining if they're telling him to already kind of watch his rear tires. So it looks like they may be having the same issue as they did yesterday. Ooh, George pushing Botas a little wide there. These hard compounded tires are absolutely nowhere. Liam Lawson's the only one making them work, but he hasn't gained any time on Hulkenberg. The McLarens have both fallen. Is Valtteri's into the pits? Oh, no, that's Guan Yu Zhou. Sorry. Guan Yu Zhou into the pits. And they just told Verstappen he's got an issue that he's going to have to fight through. Russell gets by Colapinto, now up into 13th. Now Russell's starting to move. The Russell Botas incident forcing another driver off the track has been noted, so that may get investigated. Sainz now starting to drop a little bit off the back of Verstappen. Verstappen's now 6.2 behind Leclerc. Well, yeah, but those incidents were David Croft brings up that we had similar incidents, but those were on lap 1 and after a restart, which they typically don't penalize that. Whereas that move they may end up penalizing more. Five-second penalty to Russell for forcing Bottas off the track. God, the McLarens just can't catch, or the Mercedes just can't catch a break this weekend. Bottas into the pits now, onto the hard compounded tires. Jacob Russell Bottas drama tradition. Very nice. Yep. George is like, what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would have said the F word had he been allowed to say that. That's kind of a weird penalty. I kind of agree. He forced him off track, but again, if you're not going to call the rest of them, you couldn't have called that one. It deserved to at least be investigated, though. Thanks, Toto. Like we didn't already know what you guys were thinking on that. It is totally amazing to me that Perez is within DRS of Sonoda and has not been able to pass him yet. Perez needs to go. I think Red Bull needs to get him out of there. Verstappen now 7 seconds behind Leclerc. I was going to say it took about... Now you brought Hulkenberg back into this. Magnussen, first one of the mediums into the pits. Fernando didn't even put up a fight there. That was pretty bad. Fernando doesn't even put up a fight. Is now Magnussen's on to the hards. Hulkenberg's going to have a shot here against Sonoda to get up in the 8th as they get onto this backstretch. Here comes Hulkenberg. Nice job, Hulk. Come on, Hulk. Come on, Hulk. Tsunoda's into the pits. I think Hulkenberg's done a really good job of taking care of his tires, though, as well. Nope. Magnussen, good job, Magnussen, on the pit stop there. Leclerc's now 1.8 up on Verstappen, or excuse me, 8.2 up on Verstappen. And Sainz has just been holding steady at that 1.5, 1.6. Doing a really good job. Sainz just doing a really good job to kind of hold steady there. Sainz wouldn't be a bad position to take. All right, Magnussen, come on now. You got to get him on that back stretch. Huh, interesting. Piastri was just on the radio saying that the tires feel good, that the graining seems to, they may have kind of passed the graining phase. Russell making that look really easy. Get signs being told to box. .6 second stop for signs there. He's just going to be able to get out ahead of Perez. Albon pushed him wide. There you go, Magnussen. Nice job. Well, based on the penalty that Russell got, you would have to say that Albon's going to be getting a 5-second penalty. Right now, both the McLarens are saying that their tire wear is way better than those ahead of them, which would be Verstappen and Leclerc. Leclerc just telling his team they don't want to leave him out too long and put him under pressure. Very understandable. Kevin Magnussen making another good pass in that same section that he did the lap before on Albon. Now, wait a minute. If you penalized Russell for that, how are you not going to penalize Albon for that almost exact same move? That just seems silly to me. Verstappen now 10 seconds back of Leclerc. Oh, he's now. If Verstappen pits now, Sainz will be ahead of Verstappen by over a second. Leclerc radio. How many more laps can you do at this pace? Question. They're going to focus on plan C at Ferrari at this point now. Wow, incoming pro. Yeah, I would say, and rightfully so. Yeah, if you're going to penalize Russell for his move, then you've got to penalize Albon there. You can't. It was literally the same thing, even though Magnussen eventually made the move. It doesn't. Verstappen radio. Left-hand side tires are really bad now. Man, Norris is starting to catch up Verstappen now. Yeah, Verstappen's got to be getting ready to pit. Yep. Verstappen being told to pit. Nice pit stop by Red Bull there. Wow, he's going to come out a couple seconds ahead of Verstappen, but Verstappen's going to be on newer hard compounded tires. Leclerc being told the box now. All right, so Norris is now up into the lead. Norris and Piastri are now 1-2, whereas the Ferraris are 3-4. Perez just pit. He's back down into 11th. Hulkenberg's into the pits now. Gasly gets around Albon finally. Hulkenberg with a 3-second stop there. Strolls into the pits. Yeah, Hulkenberg got out ahead of Gasly even. Ooh, Esteban Ocon's pass there. That should get pulled back. He didn't get pushed off. Signs radio. More phase one brake release, and he tells him, I don't know what that means. Ooh, Gasly's got a black and white flag for track limits. So next time Gasly goes off track, it's a 10-second penalty, I think. Norris radio. Claire's caught up to the back end of Piastri, so Piastri's got to play rear gunner for Norris here and really block him off. Yeah, a good chunk of the top 10 is praying for a safety car. Literally, from Russell, Lawson, Colapinto, those three are all hoping for a safety car right now because otherwise they're losing a ton of time. All right, going to take a quick bathroom break here, so just hold on just a moment. All right, there we go. Ocon's into the pits finally to get off of his mediums. Yeah, they are. You know they're hoping for a safety car at this point. Piastri now being called into the pits. See how Piastri's pit stop here is. Oh. Yeah, didn't get that tire straight on there. 2.6. Gonna come out just in front of Russell here. Pierre Gasly with a penalty now. 5-second penalty for forcing another driver off track. Norris radio. Albon's into the pits. You're going to start seeing the guys that were on the hard compound start to pit here within the next lap or two. So Lawson, Colapinto, Russell, we'll all start to see them pit here fairly soon. Sonoda and Albon now under investigation for forcing another driver off track. Leclerc's just now set the fastest lap. Norris just pulled it back again. Here comes Perez on Colapinto. Not going to get him going into turn one, but he should get him on the back end. Not really keeping him in bay. Max is 7 laps in striking distance. 4.6 seconds now, the gap between Norris and Verstappen. Yuki Tsunoda with a penalty now as well, 5 seconds. He is sliding. Colapinto is sliding all over the place right now. Great pass there by Fernando. Guan Yu Zhou into the pits again. Verstappen radio. Wow, Verstappen saying these tires just aren't good. I can't brake, I can't attack, I can't do anything. Wow. Okay, so Lawson into the pits. Wow. Yuki Tsunoda now behind Liam Lawson after that pit stop. Yeah, that's why I'm saying some of these penalties that they're handing out are a little, I think, a little off to me today. Like you didn't penalize Albon for what he did to Magnussen. Like it's really weird. Perez finally gets around Colapinto. Tsunoda radio. How has this happened? Norris is now 2.9 behind Verstappen. Sonoda radio. Lawson gets around Gasly, no problems. Magnussen into the pit. Oh no, what's happened to Kevin? Ah! Yeah, he's Magnussen's going to be flying here the last 16 laps. Very easy there for Liam Lawson. Here comes Yuki on Gasly. Colapinto's finally coming into the pits. Damn it. Come on, Magnussen. You're going to have to get around Colapinto here. Now Russell's getting ready to come into the pits. Come on, Magnussen. You got to get around him. Come on, Magnussen. You've got to get around him. Norris, yeah, Norris is really starting to get close. I think it threw them both off that Tsunoda had spun there. Wow, Norris is now a second and a half behind Verstappen. See if Norris can cut a little bit more into this. 1.2 the gap now. Russell's now got fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Norris is almost a second. Within a second, but I don't know if he got to the timing line. Here we go. Now he's with almost within a half a second. Here we go. Lando's now 7/10 behind Max. Now he's within a half a second, but Max will gain a little bit of time here through this next sector. Ooh, Max. Here we go. Within another 7/10, he'll get a little bit closer again. Colapinto gets around Gasly for the last points paying position. Here we go. Back. Man, Max is going way wide there. Ten laps to go. Oh my gosh, here we go. Here we go. He's within a half second. He's as close as he's been. Here he comes, switchback. No, he can't get that pass done there. Yeah, Lando's not making any silly mistakes here. Here we go. Driver of the day will be a toss-up between Lawson and Colapinto. Yeah, I think it should be. Colapinto's done an amazing job today. Gotta force Verstappen into a mistake here. And they're getting ready to come up to some lapped cars here. Max may get DRS here from the boy, oh boy. Getting so close. Here we go. Not as close as he has been typically. Ooh, Verstappen locks up into turn 12. I said that at the very beginning. I said Ferrari was going to potentially dominate this race. Ooh, he's really close now. Here we go. Verstappen is really beautifully defending this right now. This is such great defending for Max. What a defense here. Yeah, I was going to say, we still have a few more laps. Ooh, here we go. Gets around him. Oh, Max forced him off. You pushed him wide. Norris radio. Ooh, he's now fallen a second behind. Oh, yeah, you pushed him wide, dude. Yeah. Go fly a kite, Max. You pushed him wide. Russell gets around Perez. Oh, Russell and Perez are fighting. Here we go, Verstappen radio. Stewards are looking at it. They're just telling him. Yeah, do not let this decision go to the end of the race. I'm sorry. I think Max pushed him wide there. He had to go wide. Max opened up the wheel going into that corner. Jesus, I hate that. I'm so glad they're getting rid of the fastest lap gets a point next year. What? But he was pushed wide. Russell gets around Perez there for 6. What a pass by Russell. Norris radio. Leclerc, what a drive by Leclerc today. Ferrari has been absolutely... Oh, you have got to be kidding me. How do you penalize Lando Norris for that? How do you penalize Norris for that? Leclerc wins. What a victory for Charles Leclerc. Carlos Sainz in second. It's a 1-2 for Ferrari. That is such a joke. That is such a joke of a penalty on Norris there. Such a joke of a penalty. How are you going to call that penalty on Norris there? No, it's not. Rundle, no. He's forced off track by Verstappen, and they're going to penalize him for that. Man, oh man, I swear to God, that is such a joke of a penalty. I can. I'm sorry, I disagree with the penalty. Norris is pissed. I driver of the day, Charles Leclerc. Yeah, I would agree with that. That probably deserved it more. Wow. All right, guys. Well, that does it for the United States Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc, your victor in Austin, with Carlos Sainz finishing second and Max Verstappen finishing third, and quite a controversial ending to the Austin Grand Prix as Lando Norris, who finished third on track, gets a 5-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. But I think the talk going at the end of this race is going to be why Lando gets a 5-second penalty for being forced off of track by Max Verstappen. Like, that's silly. Hold on just a moment. Charles Leclerc won. All right, come here. All right. All right. So we're going to end the video here. So tell them what they got to do.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye-bye.